Hey guys, hope you're having a great day today. My name is Daniel, and in today's video I'd like to share with you my process of really answering the question, how do you know when to buy a second trailer? Or maybe buy even more trailers, but the principle would be the same thing. And I believe adding on an additional trailer after your first one, to me, is a big step. It was definitely a big step for me. And I just would like to share with you my experience and how I would answer this question. How do you know when to add on a second trailer? And so we'll go ahead and get right into the video. So in the process of, just kind of asking this question, how do you know when to buy your next trailer, your second dumpster, whatever that may look like? I believe the answer kind of starts from the most important areas out. So kind of playing all the way from defense, going further away from home base or your most vulnerable position, away to your offense. I think that in business, there's a lot of people who maybe get so excited about whatever the business may be that they are just constantly thinking on the offensive side of things, which to a certain degree, that's a really good thing. Building, expanding, putting your name out there even more, whatever that may look like in your business, being on offense, that's a good thing. But also, it needs to be balanced, I believe, with also protecting yourself. So the thing that may be the most vulnerable for you may be, can you actually afford it? Asking the question, when do I know when to buy a dump trailer? Well, if you are barely making ends meet, if you're doing this full time, if you jumped right into it, no matter how many bins you may have or dump trailers you may have, I guess the question is, can you afford it right now? If adding this additional payment, whether it's on a loan or cash in hand, can you afford, and do you still have a safety net? Do you still have money in the bank to be able to take care of maybe issues that may arise later on? What happens if you have a bunch of tires blow? Or the hydraulic system goes, or whatever it may be? Do you still have money in the bank to protect yourself, to keep the business operating? Obviously, we're not talking about being able to purchase everything else, brand new, to replace literally everything maybe, but simply the idea of being able to pay expenses if things were to go south, if there were to be a really slow season or whatever that may be. Is now really the best time to buy an additional trailer or multiple bins, whatever that may look like for your business? I'm speaking just simply for me, the route I'm going as for right now with dump trailers. So if you can't afford whatever the additional cost may be for that second dumpster, that's really just playing defense, and it's kind of a no-brainer. Now is not the time to be buying a second dumpster, second dump trailer, and that's just kind of on the defensive side of things. A lot of people just don't think about some of these things that come up with all the expenses we do have on a monthly basis, and the unknown things, the unforeseen things that do come up. I've seen the same thing of people not really playing defense as well as offense at the same time. But right now we're just speaking about defensive, strategies in business. That's a real big problem, and it's not just in a dumpster rental business. That goes for any type of business. My previous, work in RV transport, a lot of guys don't hold money back for their maintenance, for their trucks. Thing is, if their truck isn't running, they're not making any money. They've essentially just lost their job. So for us, obviously we have trucks too. We've got to maintain our trucks as well, take care of things, but it's just a huge thing, being able to first starting from the most vulnerable position where you're wanting to play defense. You're wanting to just keep things at the status quo, keep things above, sea level, just having the ability to continue running your business. If buying and expanding is going to push you out of that comfort zone, or really that safe zone for your business, for your livelihood, whatever that may be, your bank account, whatever that looks like, now is not the time, it's my opinion, to be buying and expanding. There was a number of months from when I bought my first dump trailer last year, and I bought my second dump trailer. I believe it was 5 or 6 months in total. I'm not for sure on that, but there was a number of months before I bought my second trailer. That was very intentional. I had no wild ideas. Well, I'm just going to go out and finance and buy a whole fleet. No, that's craziness. Unless you have proven strategies or you have some magic pill or some way to make sure that everything is going to work out just the way you're thinking it's going to, which seems like that's a little outrageous. You're probably going to be let down in some way or many ways. And so for me, I believe trying to expand when your current budget, your current rentals and your brand awareness and all these things are not where it should be, or to be able to support everything, that's a problem. That's going to put you in a dangerous, even more vulnerable position. So play defense is just my first thought that comes to mind. Before we start expanding and growing things, let's make sure that we're not about to start fires, start bigger problems than we even are currently in right now. So that's my first thought. So my next thought after, being able to answer, is that going to put me in a even more vulnerable position, with monthly bills or not having anything in the bank or whatever that may look like for your situation? My next question would be, okay, well, if I bought a second trailer today, what would that really do for me? That's kind of my next question. So if I'm no longer having to play defense by this transaction of buying a second dumpster, what's the next thing for me? What would that do? Am I actually going to be making money off of it, or is it going to be a 3,000, 4,000 pound paperweight sitting in my driveway, sitting at my storage place? What is that going to do for me? How is that going to be a help? It's one thing if I'm able to bring the trailer home and I'm able to actually put it to use. Maybe it's a different size. Like my route that I took, I bought a larger dumpster. So now I can offer two different sizes. It's a 15 and a 17, so nothing too crazy to that. So nothing too crazy, on a much higher scale. But it is a larger option technically, and I can charge just a little bit more. I charge $25 extra for the first day more for that. So I'm able to be a little bit more profitable with that, and that's neat to be able to have that option. But if I bring that trailer home and I want to go out and actually use it, do I have the business to be able to support that trailer? Really, do I have enough things going on to make it even worthwhile? Otherwise, it's just going to be sitting there. And so the question I would ask myself then is, am I actually going to go positive? Is this trailer going to be used? And so next thought I would then have is, okay, so for my first dumpster, for my first trailer, are there times where I actually am turning customers away, or the schedule's not working for them, or it's just unavailable the whole week? Are there times where that may be the case? And that's a big question. If the first dumpster isn't rented out all the time, and it's not even being utilized to the best of its potential, why am I talking about getting a second dumpster? That's just kind of like, that's kind of weird. So if the first one's already being underutilized, I guess the question would be, the answer would then be no. There's simply just not a need. Just because I want to act like I have a big company and try to have something that's flourishing and growing and all this stuff, that's not a good enough reason. If your first dumpster is already underutilized, there's really no point in buying a second one. just because you're excited, just because you think this thing's gonna blow up super quick because you saw some guy on YouTube do it, or it seems like their thing just blew up out of nowhere. Guaranteed they are doing a lot more things, and maybe they have, you know, much more experience in the business world. There's just a lot of outside parts of the equation that maybe you don't know about. Maybe it is blowing up for them. Maybe that's not going to be the case for you. For me, it feels like it's been a slow grinding process. And if my first trailer was not utilized to the point where it's consistently, I'm having to tell people, hey, I can't do it for the next 4 days. Hey, I'm not able to bring you this trailer. I only have one. If that's not already the case, you should not be buying a second dumpster. You should be to the point where I believe is that if your first dumpster is being utilized, whether it's bins or a dump trailer, it really doesn't matter. Whatever your next purchase may be, if what you currently have is not enough, or if it is enough, that's a good indication of, I'm booked out for the next week for my one dumpster. If I had a second dumpster, maybe there would be even more. Like, I wouldn't be turning people away. Essentially, I would be able to be more profitable if I just simply had an additional trailer with me. So I'm actually at my 17 yard, my second dumpster that I purchased. I am going to grab it and be on my way, go dump it and get it ready and prepped for my next customer. But this is just my next thought, just kind of thinking through, you know, should you be buying a second dumpster? Well, after on defense, now on offense, if your second dumpster is going to be sitting there, there's really no reason to be buying it right now. That's just the name of the game. So I'm going to go ahead and get hooked up, and I'll be right back with you guys. All right, guys. So I don't know which video is going to go up first, but this rental that I just had was absolutely ridiculous. Dumpster was filled up well above the rail line, and to the point where I'm a little concerned, a little bit more than a little concerned, about the sides. The tarp isn't really even holding stuff on the sides in. It's mostly larger furniture, but this is way above what's, you know, kind of reasonable. I'm charging her an additional fee for that. I'm charging $25 more for the inconvenience to me and having to go slower and this whole process. She was very understanding, very accommodating for that, and is going to give me good reviews online, or so she says. So anyways, back to what we're talking about here, as I'm just going through my day right now. And lastly, you know, if you aren't going to go negative, you're not having to play defense, it's not going to hurt your defense, your most vulnerable position, your finances currently where they are. If you're able to afford that, and you do have the customers to be able to build and grow, I guess my next question would be, maybe not the problem that I would have right now with only having 2 dumpsters, but maybe you have more dumpsters, you have more bins, whatever that may look like. Can you reasonably, with the setup and the situation you're currently in right now, does it make sense for you to buy another dumpster? What could you actually feasibly, reasonably be able to run an additional dumpster? Maybe you're thinking about buying more than just one, adding to your fleet, or whatever that may be. I guess my question would be, could you even feasibly, you know, literally with your schedule, would it even work out? Well, that's an additional 3 hours. You've got probably an hour to go drop off, an hour worth of time, probably an hour of a pickup, and then probably an hour of going and dumping. That seems to be the situation for me. Some places are, some customers are even closer, and maybe it's less than 3 hours total. The last thought would be to kind of stop myself and check myself is, if I bought this, I wouldn't get hurt. I would have the customers, but could I even get it to the customers? Would it even make sense? Would I be kind of chasing my own tail? Would it just be absolute chaos? Is there enough time in the day to add this additional part to your business? Otherwise, the answer to me is no. If you could grow, but you can't because of other reasons, your schedule, your other job, your whatever that may be, that's going to be a stumbling block for you. That's going to be a problem. If I was running, if I were to add on a dumpster today, which my answer is going to be different in different areas, for asking myself this question, how do I know when to add a third dumpster? I'm going to be going through these questions myself. But if you don't have the schedule, if you don't have the time, if whatever it may be, if this is a side hustle, you want to turn into something bigger down the road, but the timing's not right now. The schedule doesn't work out to where you could reasonably devote on a regular basis throughout the week 1 hour a day for each dumpster to go drop off or to go pick up, or maybe 2 hours to go dump from the previous one and then go deliver to the next one. If you don't have that time, if that's not reasonable for your situation, your setup, the answer is not right now. The time to buy a second dumpster, a third, whatever it may be, it's not right now. And I think to have that self-awareness of, here's the situation that I'm actually in, here's what would work within those parameters. Self-awareness of your finances, of your schedule, of what you're even capable of doing. I think that's just huge. And everybody's answer is probably going to be different. That's the truth. Not everybody is in the same situation. Some people have bins, some people have dump trailers. Your market's different. Not everybody's guaranteed customers. Just because you buy a second dumpster, a third dumpster, a whatever number dumpster, the whole city, your whole state doesn't get a notification. By the way, so-and-so bought a new dumpster, so you better go rent from them and make sure that they're completely busy with that second one or with whatever number. That's not how it works. Seemingly, that's how a lot of people act. How people talk in comments kind of scares me. Most of the comments that I have on my channel here, people are pretty reasonable. They're excited, but things and the way people's thought processes are seem fairly reasonable to me, because I don't know their situation, but it even seems borderline, kind of a little, maybe a hair more excited than realistic. But I think that's good to have that motivation, to have that drive, that fire. That's a good thing. But we've got to have that self-awareness in all these areas of our lives. Take a snapshot. Pull yourself out of your situation, out of your dream, which is a good thing to focus on and look at, big picture stuff. What is it going to look like for you down the road? That's great. But we've got to be able to pull ourselves out of that and look at where we're currently at. Because if we don't do that and we make decisions based on what we think the future looks like rather than where we're currently at right now, to be able to build towards that future goal, whatever that may be, man, I think it's a dangerous situation to be in that place where we're making decisions based off the future, which we don't know. We're not promised tomorrow. We're not guaranteed anything. Just wanted to, be a help and a thought process with that. For me, I can only truly speak to, how did I know to buy a second dumpster, a second dump trailer for my business. My first one, just kind of going through the list here, my first one was being rented out more and more and more. I was having to turn people away or say, hey, could we reschedule? And they were saying, no, I'm sorry, I can't. I've got to have it on this day or these days. And I said, I'm already booked out for most of the week. I mean, almost the entire week for several weeks in a row. And I'm thinking, oh man, I'm telling people no. And the thing is, you only have a certain amount of no's. When people come to you and they're wanting to give you their business, there's only a certain amount of no's you're going to be able to get before they just stop coming to you. And so that's a very, I guess, scary, or I don't know what you want to say, concerning thing. You want to limit the amount of no's you have to tell people, because you're going to be known as a no man at some point. I was getting people who said, hey, I need a dumpster, and I said, I can't get you one. I'm so sorry. I'd love to reschedule with you. No, it's not going to work. So I looked at my finances and said, I can do this. I can do a second dumpster right now. That's feasible. Because the customers came to me and said, hey, we need a dumpster, and I couldn't give it to them, I knew I have the demand for a second dumpster. Not guaranteeing and absolutely saying the second dumpster is going to be rented out every single day right off the bat. That was not a guaranteed thing. I didn't have these unreasonable expectations of, well, if I'm buying a second dumpster, it better be rented out every single day, and I better be getting my return real fast. That was not my expectation. I just wasn't. And then lastly, could I make it work with my schedule? Does my schedule allow for an additional dumpster to be added to my fleet, to my one other trailer? That's the name of the game. If that answer is a no, there's no point in buying another dumpster. You're wasting your time. And in my situation, because of I'm wanting to get off the road from RB Transport, I'm wanting to be more local, I'm wanting to be home with my wife, working for myself, doing my own thing here, learning and growing in this business, that does allow me to buy another dumpster. And so for me, those three questions, that allowed me to say yes. The time for a second dumpster for myself right now, I say yes. Maybe you have maybe other additional thoughts. Those are pretty basic foundational things I kind of came to on my own. I think they're reasonable things to look at. Defense, offense, and then, okay, it all makes sense that way, but could I even feasibly do this? Does it work with my schedule? You know, for the person who has multiple jobs, or they're still juggling their main job with this, and they're trying to build this, but things just won't quite work, and the schedule doesn't work, and those things just don't quite make sense. Why would you buy another trailer and make it make even less sense? I have 2 trailers, I have 3 trailers, I have however many, but there's not enough time in the day. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. I'd have to be running trailers. The transfer station's only open, or the landfill's only open a certain amount of hours. If you're working 9 to 5, my transfer station is only open 2 days, I believe from 7 to 6 p.m. So if it were me, I would only have 2 hours on 2 days to be able to make it happen. That wouldn't make sense either with my schedule. So I guess it's not only just your schedule, but it's the transfer station, it's the dump, their schedule as well that you've got to be thinking of. Hopefully this was a help to you, just really wanting to think through this, where I'm currently at, where I want to go in the future. What things do I have to have in line before I pull the trigger on doing anything else, adding anything else to my dumpsters? It's just it's too important to not go through these things and to ask these kind of hard questions. If the answer is no, consider it a blessing that you found out now, rather than trying to push it and trying to make things work. Because usually when I do that in the past, in any area of my life, when I try to force something to just work, it doesn't work. It really does not work. You don't get to tell the market that you're going to grow to a X amount of dollars revenue income. The market tells you. So there's lots of factors in this. Just wanted to be thoughtful. Let me know your thoughts on this. Let me know down in the comments below. If this was a help to you, just consider subscribing, hitting the like button if you got good value. That's my heart, that's my passion. I want to be a help. I want to be thoughtful in all this. I want to be an encouragement to you. This is a new thing for me. I'm not a veteran running this thing. I am brand spanking new, learning from the ground up, just trying to do my best, trying to share information that I learn, and just want to be a blessing to you. So hopefully you have a great day today. Stay safe, guys, and God bless.